Hello everyone, it's Waves here, and we have another top 4 match for the Adventuring Party Showdown tournament. This time it is the Warlock, piloted by Josh, versus the Summoner, piloted by M. Bowers. It's going to be a very exciting match, I'm sure. Again, I missed the first round of this game, so we're picking up in round number 2. You'll notice that there's a big board lead for M. Bowers here, and I have some insider information about this. Apparently, the Summoner decided not to bring her Frostback Bear summons to this game, and instead pull a little trick with a Nature's Wrath and Frog Ping to completely clear the board of the Warlock going into round 1. Then we look at the pickup to round 2. It looks like a Salamander Monk was played in response to an Indiglo Creeper being played, and then a second Enchanted Violinist was played to pop the Creeper. And so we have a Seedling on the board now. And yeah, let's get into it. Just gonna check here. Yep. So the Warlock has focused Time Hoppers and now a focused Indiglo Creeper as well. And the Summoner is also focusing a book. That is the... what is it? The Mindfog Owl. Very interesting. Got some annoying Reddit pop-ups here. Yeah, Focus Mindfog Owl is kind of a cool unit. I've seen it a little bit more recently on random Ashteki games, but you don't see it every day, but it can be quite potent, so we'll have to see. And then, of course, the Focused Hoppers could go really wide and provide a lot of tokens. And the Focused Indiglo Creepers could be nice as well. Summon one in and put a token directly onto the Seedling. Now it's in the Warlock's court. What will the Warlock do? Could, of course, summon another Hopper and burst that Seedling right away. She is face down with that full health Essence Druid. That could sometimes be a pain to get through. Okay, so another Indiglo Creeper comes down, putting the second token onto that Seedling, so that Seedling is ready to burst. And we have a Mindfog Owl coming out and putting a Charm Dice onto the Hopper. Very interesting. So this Hopper is not going to be able to do anything other than maybe allow other Time Hoppers to come into play. 2 for 1 dice, perhaps. The Summoner has a full battlefield now. 6 battlefield. And the Warlock as well has 6 battlefield. Okay, here we go. The Seedling has blossomed. And we have some Brilliant Thorns in play, ready to try to hack and claw through the Summoner's creations. Alright, looks like a Ruby Cobra is going, and it has milled a Survival of the Fittest, and it's targeting that Creeper before Hope can duplicate it. And Hope, the Warlock, doesn't want to use up her guards, so another Seedling is now in play. There's a variety of options still available to populate that Seedling with tokens. Time Hopper comes in. Let's see, will the double time hopper come out, or will the Warlock opt to use that battlefield space for something else and instead put a token right on the seed? Looks like Josh might be thinking about that very thing right now. Puts it directly on the seed. Doesn't want to get his battlefield too clogged up. Makes sense, makes sense. Now, what main action will the Warlock opt for here? Okay, a Thorn swings out at a Mindfog Owl, trying to clear the path a little bit. Interesting, so no guard here. The Mindfog Owl goes down, but does not counter. So that means that the status token from a dead Brilliant Thorn will not be able to go to the seedling. And of course the Thorn will die at the end of the round. And in response, a Mind Maze being put onto the other seedling, and the Warlock immediately discarding that. And another Mindfog Owl coming out with the charm power to render that other hopper useless, basically, other than for a main action. That's interesting. He was able to protect his enchanted violinists, which could still wreak some havoc in the subsequent round. Now the Warlock still has her Phoenixborn ability, Hope's ability, to duplicate a hopper to make sure that that seedling can grow and sprout and blossom into some more brilliant thorns. Let's see. He could swing out a Brilliant Thorn at a Mindfog Owl, but the summoner, the Mindfog Owl, doesn't have to counter. Could do a similar thing. There is some dice for survival of the fittest. Of course, he wouldn't want to do that until he got his value out of the Brilliant Thorn that's unexhausted, probably. Okay, so he swings out at the Mindfog Owl again. Probably hoping that it will counter so he can get that Thorn, that status token on from the Thorn instead of from the duplicate ability. Let's see though. Okay, it takes the damage but does not counter, so that Thorn will stay on the battlefield. Using up some battlefield space and not giving its status token back to the seedling. Now it's the summoner's turn. He has a Salamander Monk book that he could potentially use. And maybe even use it twice if he wanted to with Ingenuity. Okay, one Salamander comes onto the board here. No. The Warlock is a dice behind, so she probably wouldn't want to pass out here. Looks like one survival of the fittest is in the bin from earlier from that Cobra. So there might be 2 more, and it looks like there's 1 more Void Pulse left as well in the deck or hand. Okay, so Duplicate comes down to provide another status token for the Seedling, and it looks like he's going to attack one of those Enchanted Violinists with the copy. Let's see if Fiona wants to guard here. It is just a copy. It will die at the end of the round, I believe. Or turn. I'm not even sure. We'll find out. Okay. Does guard, and it's at the end of the turn that it goes away. Okay. So... But a Void Pulse comes down. Is that what happened? Yes, Void Pulse comes down, drawing the Warlock 2 extra cards, and moving the Summoner's remaining 2 dice down to basics to make sure that 1 Enchanted Violinist dies. And he does have a frog power to kill off that other Enchanted Violinist, which might be his thinking. Yep. Very cool, very cool. And that's it. So the Warlock able to get a bit more dice used this round. Managed to push through, what, 1 or 2 damage it looks like. Just 1 damage that round. And does have a Seedling all ready to go for next round. Also able to clear out those Enchanted Violinists, which is very helpful. But still a big hurdle to get over for the Warlock to try to bring down the Summoner. We have still that Essence Druid. Just sitting in wait. And I think that was the last Void Pulse that was used. Oh! Survival of the Fittest comes down. Very nice. Takes care of the Druid, no problem. As well as those 2 Salamander Monks, both turning into spirits. That is, of course, a main and a side action. So now the Summoner. What will the Summoner first do after being blown out like that? Would probably like to get some units that can stick around onto the board to block those thorns when they come out. So a Mind Fog Owl comes out and renders one of those Time Hoppers useless again. And another Charm Power is primed for the second Mind Fog Owl to come out as well. It seems like the Warlock is definitely the aggressor in this matchup, where the Summoner feels more comfortable to sit back and block what the Warlock is throwing out. Maybe playing for the mill endgame. I love this song. This is the Banner Saga 3 soundtrack. Okay, so the seedling gets popped and the thorns come out. Looks like there may be one more survival of the fittest. I'm not entirely sure on that though. I don't know these decks by heart or anything. Okay, meditating up to a frog is the Warlock. Now back to the Summoner. Massive growth. Ooh, very interesting. Massive growth on the Mind Fog Owl, rendering it immune to a potential survival of the fittest. And also making it very tough to bring down from those thorns. Now, both thorns could swing and one could get through. But that would also leave the Warlock vulnerable to the big counter swing. I mean, they could each just go blow for blow basically and take 6 damage each. I mean, that might be alright for the Warlock. Okay, but opting for the Indiglo Creeper. The Frog Nature Power Dice isn't up for the Summoner. So maybe the Warlock will be able to duplicate and get some good damage through with this Creeper. Let's see what the Summoner will do. Okay, goes for the Mind Fog Owl now. So, yeah, survival of the fittest will now destroy the Creeper as well if he wants to go for it, as well as one of the thorns. So he feels safe to throw out the Mind Fog Owl and renders that other time Hopper kind of useless. Probably worse than useless because it's eating up some battlefield space. Now the Warlock thinking about how to break through this wall of owls. The duplicate and swing with team could do a lot of damage. Likely get 6 damage through and then take 7 damage through and then take 6 on the return swing. Although it would be nice to have those Brilliant Thorns die and put their status tokens directly onto the next seedling. So duplicate is used. Is the big swing going to come down or not? No, okay. Interesting. So it dies immediately and turns into a seedling. That may have been a missed opportunity to get a little bit of damage through, even just attacking with that duplicated one to get a couple damage on Fiona, grab a guard, or go through a Mind Fog Owl. I think that would have been better. So Polarity Mage comes and brings Mind Maze back into hand. Josh, the Warlock plays Explosive Growth onto Brilliant Thorn and attacks the Massive Growth Mindfog Owl and is able to destroy it. And the Mindfog Owl doesn't even counter. But I mean, that Thorn is going to die anyway. I don't think there's any way of the Warlock taking that exhaustion token off of the Brilliant Thorn. And Mind Maze comes down on the other Thorn, really taxing the hand of the Warlock. Also, I don't think that Thorn will put a status token onto the Seedling if it is discarded by the Mind Maze. It's interesting what the last card in hand could be for the Warlock. Is it worth it to get rid of that Mind Maze? Yes, okay, so a Huntmaster comes out. Not a lot of battlefield room for the Huntmaster anyway. And the Mind Maze goes away. So now in all likelihood that Brilliant Thorn will get to attack and also provide its status token back to the Seedling. Okay. A Molten Gold being meditated from the deck. And a Salamander Monk coming as another blocker. And Mindfog Owl, it looks like, to be targeted by the Creeper. Okay. And this time the Creeper is countered, leaving 2 Seedlings primed and ready. But also, now the Warlock's battlefield is clogged. But the Salamander Monk spirits of the Summoner attempting to take down one of those Seedlings before the end of the round. It looks like he can bring one down, even if a Time Hopper puts a token onto that one. But it will take everything, and that would allow for the Brilliant Thorn to swing through and hit Fiona for 3 damage. Fiona being the summoner, of course. Okay. Instead, taking out that Polarity Mage. And now I think the Warlock should be able to save that seed if she wanted to, but didn't want to, I guess. And just trades it out. Because the Warlock still has her guard. So it looks like all that's left is a Salamander Monk swing. Let's see. You could... Oh, and a Cobra as well. Never mind, never mind. That play makes a lot more sense to me now. There was the Cobra as well. So the Time Hopper coming to give that Seedling a little life. It gets 1 life and 1 status token from the Time Hopper. Now, what is the Time Hopper going to do here? I mean, it could attack the Salamander Monk. Just trade with it. Yep, that's what he does. Let's see, will Fiona guard? No. So a spirit comes into play. And it looks like the summoner just going to send the last 2 units to face. Discards a Flash Strike off the top. And the seedling blocking one of those units, and one more damage getting through. Okay, and the Warlock is now decked, so it's looking dire. Can she find a way to push through this wall of units? The Warlock still has 11 health. And there are 3 Salamander Monk Spirits on the board, which are kind of clogging up the Summoner's board. So there might be a way to push through. We'll have to see. The first Mind Fog Owl coming down and rendering one of those Time Hoppers useless. And over to the Warlock. Looks like all the explosive growths are gone for the Warlock. Okay, so Indiglo Creeper comes out, putting the final token onto that seedling. Massive growth coming down. This is quite interesting to see massive growth used in a way kind of defensively against the Thorns, but the threat of counter swing is real, especially now that the Warlock is decked. Yeah, I mean a 6 attack plus 5 fatigue damage, and that's it for the Warlock, so she's got to be very, very careful here. I do wonder with those hoppers out on the field, how much damage would be needed? You would need, right now, if the Warlock didn't play any cards, you would need the Massive Growth Mind Fog Owl to get through for 6. Okay, Indigo Creeper coming back, giving a token to the next seed. And duplicate being used to create a 3rd seed. Oh, wow. Second Mind Fog Owl coming out to charm that Indiglo Creeper, so his attack will only be 1, so he won't be able to swing out at that 2 health Mind Fog Owl. I mean, he could, but it wouldn't be that effective. I suppose he could attack that Mind Fog Owl with the Time Hopper and then at least get the guard by attacking with the Creeper. So the Warlock is ahead on dice right now, 2 dice up on the Summoner, looking for any way possible to break through. Okay, Seeds of Aggression coming out. Onto the Time Hopper. And clearing one of those Salamander Monk Spirits. Maybe recognizing that a big Mind Fog swing with those Salamander Spirits is getting very close to ending the game here. In fact, I think if both of those got through the Mind Fog Owls, that's 8 damage. And then Hope will die to fatigue, so... And a Salamander Monk coming out. Then the question is just, can Fiona survive? until end of round. Okay, so one of the seedlings is burst. And doubtless these brilliant thorns will be swinging down at the Mind Fog Owls, trying to capture them in their vines. And, okay, uses a frog ping to clear his own time hopper, does the Warlock. Yeah, I mean, with those seeds there, he's going to need the battlefield space. He does, of course, have the time power dice that he could use as well instead of a time hopper, to make sure that at least one of those seedlings goes off this round. This is quite a tense game. Of course, the Warlock running out of time, but still with so much power behind those seedlings. Okay. The Summoner passing, recognizing that the Warlock has to do something before end of round. I wonder who goes first at the top of next round. If it is, of course, the Summoner, then a big Mind Fog swing could likely end it. Okay, so all the thorns are out now. Not all the thorns, but 4 of the thorns are out. So now the Mind Fog swing can't come through. At least not yet. The Summoner again passing, thinking that she's flustered the Warlock and inviting an attack from the growing monstrosities. Okay, so Fiona guarding one of the thorns, taking 3 damage, down to 11 health. But of course not under the threat of decking, with still 7 cards left in the deck. The Summoner passing again. Okay, Brilliant Thorn attacking the massive growthed owl. And the owl is going to swing at that last seedling. Didn't, of course, counter. Oh! And Hope taking a massive hit. 6 damage to guard that seedling. Seemingly critical to take that hit now in order to swing through for as much damage as possible. Okay. We have 2 thorns and a creeper coming through for a potential 7 damage total. The Cobra immediately blocks one of the thorns. Mind Fog Owl and Salamander Monk all block. Yeah, so upon blocking, the Mind Fog Owl has to counter, creating another seed. There is one more Time Hopper book available, but it doesn't look like... Okay. First, the counter swing from the Monk Spirits, and I think that's enough. The Warlock coming down to 2 health will end up dying to fatigue. The GGs are thrown out. Good game, very interesting. the summoner was able to stifle the plans of the Warlock, who came very close and had a lot of power behind the thorns, but just couldn't quite find a way to break through. Enough status tokens to fuel 2 more of the seedlings for 4 more brilliant thorns and plus 10 dice, but just ran out of time a little bit. That was a very interesting, very great game. Big congratulations to both Josh and M. Bowers for making it this far in the tournament, all the way up to the top 4 with the Warlock and the Summoner. And a big congratulations to M. Bowers for making it to the finals with the Summoner, no less. I'm really excited for the finals. It's going to be the Scout versus the Summoner. Very interesting battle. I'm just going to skip forward here. One of them must have surrendered. So yeah, great game. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you for the finals.